So I'm working with a potential client, really good guy, worked really hard, built a business, and actually had that business bought out. And we were talking about what he wants to accomplish now. So we have a little bit more freedom for him because he has a little bit more money to work with. And what he wanted was what everybody I found in 10 years of doing this wants. And that's kind of a roadmap or a blueprint. Like, help me build this life that I want to live. I've worked all these years. Now it's time for me to go spend time with and really enjoy my family. And at the end of the day, money is nothing more than a tool to help us do that. So we were talking about his assets, and he said, well, since my old 401k shut down, I can just roll it into my new 401k. And you can definitely do that. The nice thing about when one 401k plan shuts down is you actually have options. In this case, one of the options is to move it out to an IRA. Now, why would you do that? In IRAs, you just simply have different investments that aren't available in 401ks. 401ks typically have large cap, small cap, mid cap, international, but then there's the venerable, the thing that's in everybody's portfolio, which is the target date fund. Now, whether you and your 401k or your financial advisor, whoever, whether they have a whole bunch of mutual funds or they own one target date fund, at the end of the day, you pretty much own a target date fund. So my name is Chris Reed, and if I haven't met you yet, I'm the owner of Capital Partners Wealth Management. I make these videos because between running this firm and doing all the other things that daily life requires, I just don't have time to help everybody who reaches out to us. But I have had people reach out and say, hey, you made a video on XYZ and it really helped me. Thanks a lot. So that makes me feel good. So that's what we're here for. So back to the topic at hand, which in this video is going to be target date funds, how they operate. I'm not a huge fan of them, and how they could cost you years of your actual retirement, years of you having to keep going back into what one of my clients affectionately calls the salt mines, and maybe how you can do a little bit better. So target date funds are nothing more than one easily packaged mutual fund that contains a whole bunch of other mutual funds. And those mutual funds are basically broken up into two categories. There's the risky category. So risk in your portfolio is not necessarily a bad thing, because during really good years, the market can go up and give you maybe 30% rate of return. Now, the other side of that coin is that you might lose 20-25% of your retirement assets if the market goes down. Now, if you're young and you have 40 years of work ahead of you and you lose $2,000 in your target date fund, guess what? No big deal, because you got another 40 years to make it up. Now, target date funds balance out those risky assets, allegedly, with safe assets. So more on that to come, but generally the theory is that those safe assets during the good years, you might not make as much, and the trade-off for that is during the bad years, you're not going to lose as much. A properly balanced portfolio with actual risky assets and actual safe assets will give you a mix of these two styles of money growth. There's the red line, and that's totally fine. The red line is completely acceptable. The longer you have to retirement, the more downturn you can take, because the upside is going to be worth it in the long run. And then there's the safe assets. Safe assets are meant to grow your money and keep it from losing. How target date funds work is over time, they allegedly shift more money from risky to safe. Now, in order to accomplish that, mutual fund companies will take and they'll buy risky assets. And what they do is they just buy mutual funds. So that's, again, growth, large cap, assets that are supposed to go up and up and up over time, with the trade-off that, again, you might get beat up a little bit in the short term. Risky assets are typically and traditionally things like stocks, ETFs, and mutual funds or equities. So in my firm, we go out and we buy safe assets to help balance out those risky assets. Those are things like bonds, certificates of deposit, treasuries, CDs. There's some annuity products that are guaranteed never to lose. There's structured notes with downside limitations. There's all these types of things that you can actually put into that bucket of money to make sure that if the market goes down, those safe assets don't go anywhere with it. Unfortunately, because of regulatory reasons, because of money reasons, because of ease of doing business reasons, 95% of the industry, they don't actually go out and buy those safe investments. They don't buy those CDs, treasuries. They don't go out and they don't call the fixed income desk at their custodian and ask for a really good corporate grade bond. What they do is they go and they buy bond funds. So if you look on the YouTube channel for one of my videos titled Why Your Target Date Fund or Why Your Investments Got Killed, I can't remember, it's been a while, you're gonna see and I explain kind of how bond funds operate. So the upshot is this. This is a target date fund. Now, this is a fund that is designed for people who are going to retire in about 30 years. Those people allegedly can take a whole bunch of risk, because if they lose in the short term, it's going to be worth it in the long term. Now, as an aside, should you own better things than what's in a target date fund? Yeah, you should. But as you can see, when the inflation bubble popped, those folks lost 25, 30%. When I was talking to this client, he said, yeah, it was really weird. I own this target date fund and I set it so that I didn't think I would lose a whole bunch if the market went down, but I just got my butt kicked. Well, the problem is those bond funds don't act like actual safe securities. So when the risky money went, the safe money went too. So looking at these two charts, this target date fund that is meant for people retiring in 30 years had the exact same effect as a target date fund that was meant for people retiring next year. So in order to make sure you retire on time, it's very important to understand that once you're 59 and a half, or if your company closes down their 401k plan, or if you leave an old employer and you've got old money sitting around in what is essentially a target date fund, you really need to take a close look at the actual investments that are in your portfolio and determine whether or not they're going to keep you on track for retirement. Thanks.